The first story is called Me and My House. Alright, I hope I can do this. Dad, I need to speak to you after I make this phone call. Excuse me, please. Without looking up or waiting for his son to reply, the Reverend attempted to close the door of his home office, pushing out his son. It remained ajar and Tyler stood just outside of it. Tyler heard his father dial a number. Your parents, please. Tyler could hear how his father fought to hide tension in his voice. Joseph, hello brother, how are you? How are you and Bethany holding up? Tyler listened, but his dad did not speak for a while. Listen, this should have not happened. I don't want to seem insensitive, but she's only 16 and she must take responsibility for this. What? You say she's going around telling people? It's more than her soul at stake here, Brother Joseph. She cannot end up like most of these hedonistic teenage girls in this damn country. Damn, Tyler repeated to himself. Glad to see him. Again, brother, I'm not trying to instigate or appear harsh, but you do know this could be all over the internet. These kids are so technologically advanced, she may be on a dirty website for perverts. We're better than this. Your household needs purification. Tyler almost wanted to laugh out loud. This is more than he anticipated. How could this happen in your house? I mean, you're supposedly a devout believer and the head of your household. You obviously did not raise her well. How dare he say such a thing, Tyler thought, becoming angry with his father. There was another long pause. She was not raped, you say. She admitted that? How could this happen if... Another long pause. Okay, so she's throwing it up in your face that it was consensual? Who's the young man? Oh, she won't say, huh? Tyler leaned in closer to the door to listen. Even though his father had no idea how many of his private conversations he has eavesdropped on, this exceeded them all in excitement. The tone and words his father used even surprised him. Once you're both ready, I'll speak with her, he said before another pause. Bethany, shh. Tyler heard his dad sigh hard. Sister, all that crying is not going to bring your daughter's virginity back. You need to pray and ponder where you and your husband erred in raising her. Then you and Brother Joseph need to come up with a plan of attack to fix this. Plan of attack? Erred? Again, Tyler thought to himself. He could not recollect if he had ever heard his father use such terms. He sounded more militant than spiritual. Tyler shook his head. Never had he witnessed his father's lack of compassion. His father's insensitivity and harsh demeanor propelled him to move forward with his own plans. Thinking of it ignited a fire in his bones. He could hardly wait to speak to him. He almost gasped from excitement. Then the office door suddenly opened. Tyler, Dad! Somewhere between the eavesdropping and excitement, he had missed when the phone was hung up. The door swung open and his father almost ran over him, rushing out. Son, you startled me. I was just about to go and get some water. I just finished my business for now. Did you need something? I'll be back. Let me go get some water. Tyler was used to his father talking at him. He always seemed too preoccupied with his own matters to take things he did or said seriously. Even when he asked him questions, he did not expect an answer. But all of that was about to change. Tyler's heart was beating heavily. He was unsure if his father knew he was violating his privacy or not. As soon as his father left the office, he stepped in and waited. Tyler sat across from the big desk. He looked down at the envelope he held in his hand. Before sealing it, he read it through many times and was prepared to have this conversation with his father. After being nosy, he was more than convinced. His father returned with a tall glass of water. He pushed his head back and placed 2 white pills into his mouth. Then he downed half of it. He went over to his desk as if no one else was in the room. He immediately turned and looked at something that grabbed his attention. Dad, I need to speak with you. It's rather important. Okay, son, go ahead. He sat the glass on and coasted but never looked up. He eyed some papers as he picked them up. Actually, Tyler was glad that he was not paying him any attention. This lack of attention was the reason why he was about to shock his father. Prior to his teenage years, he selfishly prayed God would remove the calling from his father and allow him to be, quote, regular. He resented every person who called or he called, counseled, shook hands, patted on the back, or prayed for. He even detested those who cried on his shoulders regardless of their situation. To him, they were being greedy, and their screw-ups were the blame for him not having a real father. Tyler stood and held his head up. An ounce of doubt filled him, but gallons of past neglect and abandonment washed it away. Not too deep down, he really did not want to do what he was about to do, but he convinced himself that it was necessary. Tyler looked directly at his father. Reverend Dalton, your son, Tyler Dalton, is bisexual. The adrenaline in his body turned up the throttle and eliminated his initial fears. Right then, he lived for his father's reaction. Now, I'm open the floor for any questions, but I'm just going to let you know this. Again, I've already told you, the story is not necessarily going to go the way you think it's going to go. Any of those stories are. So, just to let you know. So, any questions about the story, the first story called Me and My House?
What was the inspiration for it?
I would tell you this. That's a great question. The story is not about what Tyler has done. The story is about faith and religion. And the story is more so about, are you worshiping because of tradition, or are you worshiping because you believe? And you will find that out. I'm trying to word it that way. Please forgive me, because I don't want to give away something. Because notice Tyler had a letter, an envelope, and I just leave it at that right there in his hand. So, where I'm from in Northeast Texas, I have always had a problem ever since I was a child with people supposedly believers, but they weren't doing that which they believe, and yet, but they want to tell you about what you do. So that was my inspiration. I don't want to say hypocrite Christians, but it's a question between spirituality and religion. And that story might be controversial on the Christian circuit, but it's okay. Another question? Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep moving then.